Greetings and salutations, my name is Jason Silverain and today I'll be playing The Forest of Doom. Now this is an old favourite of mine, but it's not in a format I'm used to. I played the original Fighting Fantasy books. These were released in, I think it was 1983 the book was released. And it's the third in the series of these single-player adventure game books that used to be all the rage in the early 90s and late 80s. This is the first book written by Ian Livingstone, who was one of the major writers, and as his first book, it's very different to the rest of the ones he wrote, because he didn't have the quirks that he later developed. And also, this one is relatively unique in its design. All of them kind of are in, well, should I say nearly all of them are in the same setting, and all of them follow a general system, but some of them are different from others. And the main gimmick with this one is if you get to the end without finding the artifact that you need, you can return back to the beginning, but there's a save or die throw whether or not you can return to the beginning of the forest. But I'm already loving seeing the old artwork given life and colour. The music's pretty solid. And things I'm looking forward to is the fact that I dug out my old game book with my notes of how to complete this one. So I'm wondering how much is being brought across, how accurate it's going to be. And if this goes well, I might actually buy more of these. They're only $3.99. I mean, this was released in 2014. I've had it for nearly 10 years. I've just never gotten around to playing it. It's just been stuck in my Steam library for that long, and I kick myself because this looks fantastic. We've got the classic shapeshifter, who's the chap on the front there. And here's one of the toughest fights in the whole damn game. So, I am just going to start playing, but first I'm going to just double check that everything's ready and I'll be right with you. Alright, I should be ready, but before I begin, I'm just going to mention a few of the little quirks. Oh no, I can do it on the way. This is all good. I've got my old map here. Hopefully it's still accurate. So yes, we are the heroes. Determine your own strengths and weaknesses with a series of dice rolls. Yeah, it's going to be the dice rolls that really screw us. We need a skill better than 9. This is one of the easiest games in terms of combat. There's no mini-bosses that Ian Livingstone would put in his later games. And there's only 3 things that are actually super dangerous in this forest. I like that. Free read modes, yes. What's the difference between hero modes? Oh! It's been changed. Okay, we're going to go with Adventurer. Stamina is our constitution score. Higher stamina, the longer you'll be able to survive. Roll 2 dice and add 12 to the number. Let's roll. Holy crap! We've got a lot of health. We're not going to die easy though. But what sucks is there's a lot of save or dies. Okay, roll 1 dice, add 6. Come on, 6. Come on, 6. 4. 10 is good. 10 is reasonably good. We can live with 10. In the day, it used to be roll 2d6. Determine our luck. We will need luck. Oh, we have got good stats. We have very good stats. Okay. Potion of Fortune. Potion of Stamina. Potion of Skill. Oh, what? I'm going to take the Stamina Potion. All of these are really good, especially the Potion of Luck. Yeah, I want the Potion of Strength, please. Okay, we are an adventurer, a sword for hire. You've been roaming the northern borders of your kingdom. Having always spurned the dullness of village life, you now wander the lands in search of wealth and danger. Despite the long walks and rough outdoor life, you're content with your unknown destiny. The world holds no fears for you, as you're a skilled warrior, well practiced in the art of slaying evil men and beasts with your trusty sword. Not once during the last 10 days since you've entered the northern borderlands have you set upon another person. This does not worry you at all, as you are happy with your own company and enjoy the slow sunny days, hunting, eating and sleeping. It is evening and you're having feasted on a dinner of rabbit, spit roasted on open fire. You settle down to sleep beneath your sheepskin blanket. There's a full moon and light sparkles on the blade of your broadsword, skewered into the ground by your side. That is a terrible way to take care of your weaponry. You gaze at it, wondering when you next have to wipe the blood of some vile creature from its sharp edge. These are strange lands inhabited by weird, loathsome beasts. Goblins, trolls, and even dragons. As the flame of your camp gently dies, you begin to drift asleep, and the images of screaming green-faced trolls flicker through your mind. Suddenly in the bushes to your left, you hear a loud cracking of a twig break under a clumsy foot. You leap up, grab your sword from the ground, you stand motionless but alert, ready to pounce on your unseen adversary. Then you hear a groan, followed by the dull thud of a body falling to the ground. Is it a trap? So you walk over to the bush where the noise is coming from, and you carefully pull back the branches. You look down to see a little old man with a great bushy beard, his face contorted with pain. You crouch down to remove the iron helmet covering his balding head and notice 2 crossbow bolts patrolling from the stomach of his plump, chainmail torso. Picking him up, you also carry him over to the fire and stir the dying embers into life. After covering him with the sheepskin blanket, you manage to get the old man to drink a little water. He coughs and moans. He sits up rigid, eyes staring fixed ahead, and starts to shout, "I'll get him! I'll get him! Don't you fear! Gimmelran Big Leg is coming to bring you the hammer." Oh yes, I am. Oh yes. The dwarf, who you presume to be Big Leg, is obviously delirious from the poison-tipped bolts lodged in his stomach. You watch as he slumps down again to the ground and whispers his name in his ear. His eyes stare unblinkingly at you as he begins to shout, "Ambush! Look out, ambush! Ah, the hammer! Take the hammer to Gilbran! Save the dwarves!" His eyes half close and the pain seems to ease a little. And as the delirium subsides, he speaks to you in a low whisper. "Help us, friend! Take the hammer to Gillibrand. Only the hammer will unite our people against the trolls. We're on the way to Darkwood in search of the hammer. Ambushed by the little people, others killed. The map in my pouch will take you to the home of, yes, Tromo, the master mage of these parts. His great magics for sale to protect you against the creatures of Darkwood. Take my gold, I beg you, find the hammer. Take it to Gillibrand, my lord of Stonebridge. You'll be well rewarded." Big Leg opens his mouth to start another sentence, but nothing comes out except his last dying breath. You sit down and ponder Big Leg's words. Who is Gillibrand? He was... Yes, where's Tromo? Is it... Yeah. Yes, Tromo. Yes, Tromo, I think I'm going to say. What is the fuss about Dwarvish hammer? You reach over to the still body... Sorry, you reach over to the still body of Big Leg and remove the pouch from the... remove the pouch from the leather belt around his waist. You find 30 gold pieces of a map. I'm going to need water today, I think. So it's not much of a map. Mine's much better. Essentially, he's come from Stonebridge, gone round, taken crossbow bolts, and you're around here. Or here. We've decided to try and find the hammer. It's been the last few weeks from your last good battle, and what's more, you're likely to be paid well for this one. Your mind's made up, you settle down to sleep, having just taken back your sheepskin blanket from the poor Big Leg. In the morning, you bury the old dwarf and gather up your possessions. You examine the map and look up to the sun. Finding your bearings, whistling merrily, you head off south at a good pace, eager to meet this man. No, we can attack the wizard. I would advise not attacking the wizard, because it's the fastest way to get a game over on this. You could be a real sociopath in this game, which is pretty damn hilarious. But, oh yes, I was mentioning quirks this one has. Like, this is the first book that introduces lycanthropy, and you can actually recover from it by cutting open... I think you cut open your injury and drain the blood or something, but in every other game, if you get hit with lycanthropy, it's either instant game over, or if you don't have belladonna, yeah, you're dead. You need some way to counter it. There we go. Also, this game lacks the gotta catch 'em all sort of thing, because all the later ones he writes, you need set items to get through the book. You must have, like, 4 items guaranteed, otherwise the book will be unwinnable. It's a real pain when doing his. I've always preferred Steve Jackson's stuff, because you can get through most of the books of Steve Jackson without a few items. You can miss a handful of them, you just have a harder time of it, or have to fight more. Okay, so now we have the Wizard's Tower. Lovely. Takes a little over half a day and you arrive at the Stone Dirty and Hungry. Sorry, Stone Tower Dirty and Hungry. Oh. As the tower is set back on the edges of Darkwood, some 50 metres from the path you've been following, it's difficult to find. Finally, you walk up to the huge oak door, somewhat relieved that it finds it does exist, and Big Leg had not been speaking wild in his delirium. A large brass bell and gong hang from the stone archway. As you ring the bell, a shiver runs down your spine. You realise that the loud gong invades a deep silence which you not noticed before. There are no sounds of birds or animals to be heard. You wait anxiously at the door and hear slow footsteps ascend from the stairs from the tower above. A small wooden slot in the door slides open and two eyes appear to examine you. "Well, who are you?" demands a grumpy voice through the hall. You answer in your adventure in search of the Master Mage, intending to purchase magical items from him to combat the creatures of Darkwood. "Oh, in that case, if you're interested in buying some of my merchandise, you had to best come in." So we follow him up the stairs. It's upstairs. I'm not going to attack him because we get turned into a frog. Alright, you follow the huffing and puffing old man in his tattered robes up the spiral staircase to a large room at the top of the tower. Shelves, cupboards and cabinets line the walls, all filled with bottles, jars, weapons, armour and all kinds of strange artifacts. This mage shuffles past the general clutter and slumps down in an old oak chair. He reaches into his top pocket and pulls out a fragile pair of gold-rimmed spectacles. Placing these on his nose, he picks up a piece of slate and chalk from a table next to him and begins to write frantically and hands you the slate. Maybe I should have... If I'd known I could have got a potion of healing here, I would have probably taken the luck potion. Now, none of these are particularly good for us, I think. I need a holy water. I need a glove of missile dexterity, according to my notes. So there's the holy water. I want to buy this. And I think an armband of strength. Also the health potion. Because that one fixes physical injuries. We will take the armband of strength. Missile dexterity. I definitely know that the rod of water finding is absolutely useless. There is nothing that works in this game with that. It is a red herring. I know the nose filters came in handy, and I have actually done the... what we call it... a headband of concentration. I think something tries to mind control you with that one. I can't quite remember. His size, intelligence, and confidence. Magic in the items only works once, but they're best you can buy for the money. He then asks you to reason for the purchase of your items. You tell him your story and decision to continue the quest of luckless Big Leg. "Ah, yes," he said. The sage says, slowly rubbing his chin. "I heard that the good dwarves of Stonebridge have lost their fabled warhammer. Without it, their king is unable to arouse his people, despite the fact that hill trolls have threatened his village. Rumour has it that the envious king of another village of dwarfs sent an eagle to Stonebridge to steal the hammer, which it managed to do, but as it flew over Darkwood, it was attacked by deathhawks, and the hammer dropped into the forest and apparently was lost. Apparently 2 forest goblins found the hammer, but could not decide who was to keep it. They wrestled for hours but gave up. Then they discovered that the handle unscrewed from the head, and the argument was settled. One kept the head, the other kept the handle." How do you know all this, old man? I think we discover later how he finds all this out. But then they parted, each happy with their new treasure. Who knows if they still have them? I'm afraid your problems are doubled. I can tell you that the head is made of bronze and the handle is made of polished ebony. Both head and handle have the letter G inscribed on them. Your task is not easy. Good luck. Yep, so we leave. Okay, outside in the bright light, you notice a dead quietness again. A narrow path leads northwards from the tall grass surrounding the tower into the dense undergrowth of Darkwood Forest. In a few strides, you are surrounded by the dark, tangled forest. Stones and knotted roots seem to hide in the shadows, and you can almost believe they are trying to trip you up. The light fades quickly, and the air becomes moist and unpleasant. Deeper and deeper you go into the gloom, and eventually the path forks on either side of a whole old tree. We want to go east. I believe if we go east, we will eventually reach the Ogre Cave. That's what I'm looking for. You have the Crow. Now, the Crow is a guy, I think, transformed and can be an ally. But anyway, The narrow path continues to cut its way through the tangled forest. The strange animal cries and noises echo through the trees. At last, the path widens approximately a meter across. Soon you arrive at a moss-covered wooden signpost, on one top of which sits a large crow. The arms of the signpost read north and east. Just as you're deciding which way to go, you hear the words, "Good afternoon!" You look up to hear the direction of the voice and see the crow looking down at you inquisitively. "Good afternoon," you reply. Oh, no, sorry. "Good afternoon," you reply slowly, feeling a little foolish. The crow speaks again, asking which way you're headed. You reply you're looking for two goblins, small, sinewy creatures with brown, scaly skin. "One gold will buy my advice," the crow states confidently. I'm going to ignore the crow. Normally I would say buy advice if you've not played this before. But my notes tell me we need to go north. Walking down the path, you hear footsteps arguing ahead of you. I can't remember which way we need to go, what we need to do for this one. I hope I didn't go the wrong way. I've got this note saying it should be Ogre Cave. We should probably let them walk by for now. As you crouch in the bushes off the path, the voices get louder. Two pairs of spindly legs and tattered cloth shuffle past. Past you quickly, kicking up dirt and dust. The voices soon fade away into the distance, and you step out. Ah, here we go. No, that would have been hobgoblins. They actually drop something that is quite useful for us, but I don't think we need it on the path. I think it's the hobgoblins. To the left of the path, you notice a large hole in the ground. I think I've gone the wrong way already. No. Go east. And go north. No, I need to keep going northwards. No, we don't jump into the hole. That takes us to Mushroom Doom and Fiery Demons. Here we go. At last the trees begin to thin out and the shafts of sunlight beam down through the gaps on either side of the path. As the path widens, you see a large cave entrance set a few yards back on the right, so yes, we'll go there. I think that the hole goes somewhere bad. It might actually have something useful we missed, but here we go. They're supposed to be a goblin. Goblins aren't necessarily green in this one. So you peer into the cave and you see the huge shape of an ogre walking over to a wicker cage with a bowl of water in his great hand. He's dressed in animal furs and carries a stone club in his belt. Appears to be a small creature jumping around inside the cage. Now, we're going to yeet the rock at the ogre, which our glove will be used for. Yes, I do. You reach into your backpack and pull out the purple silk glove. It fits snugly on your hand. Then bend down and pick up a good-sized rock and take aim. You throw the rock with all your might at the ogre, and it flies like an arrow to hit him on the side of the head and knock him unconscious. The creature in the cage jumps around it even more than before. Okay, we take a look at the creature. It's a goblin. There's a black shiny rod on his neck. That's already the handle. You can get it this early. Okay, so if the goblin tries to attack you, let's fight. Fight on. We hit the goblin. Hold up, what? Wait, what? Oh, they've changed it. No, the original system was you roll, you had to roll under your skill on 2d6. And you can test your luck to either, I think, is that run away? Yeah, I think so. But it looks like in this version, we roll 2d6 and it adds our skill on and we just beat them. That's fine. I kind of like this, it's a bit easier. Oh, we just destroy that poor goblin. We win. You bend down over the lifeless body of the mad goblin and examine the cord around its neck. The rod is made of ebony and has a screw of thread at one end. You are excited to see the letter G. It's neatly inscribed at the other end of what must be a hand of a dwarvish warhammer. You find your backpack and gain 1 luck point. Lovely. So, adventurous sheet. Nice. Just double checking how much gold we have. Never really explains on what we need provisions for. I think they can heal us. Do we want to look through the contents? We don't really have to, but let's have a look. I've got a bad feeling that if we open that silver box, there is a small evil... I think there's a small venomous creature inside, so we're going to leave. Walking along the path, you do not notice the rope noose underneath some fallen leaves ahead of you. Your foot catches in the noose, and suddenly you're hauled into the air by the rope, which is tied to a sprung tree. In a second, you're hanging upside down, suspended by your strapped foot. Let's test our luck. We are lucky. While sword remains in our scabbard, we're able to use it to cut ourselves down. There we go. We get our achievement. Lucky Luke. You get to your feet and curse, brushing the dirt from your clothes with your hands. You attempt to wait around to see who to set the trap, but decide against it. You continue north. Alright. Treehouse. I think there's nothing up there. I think we just end up spooking some old soul if we go up there. Is that the witch's house? Yeah, we're good. We just keep going. Soon the path leads out of the trees onto a large plain with tall grasses. Beyond it you see rising ground and further off some low hills. The path splits and goes in 3 directions. Well, my notes say west. I think we're... Okay, I think at some point we will be reaching a river after this junction. So we will go... Yeah, it is reading this west. Path ends at another junction. This way south leads back to the forest, so you decide to head north. Walking quickly through the waist-high grasses, you arrive at another junction of the path. We continue to go west. From not too far ahead comes the sharp sound of barking dogs drawing near. Suddenly a brown fox with eyes wide open in fear dashes past you running east. The frantic yelping of dogs gets louder. If you wish to face the oncoming pack of dogs, yes we will. We have the hunter. We have the choice to be a complete psychopath and attack him, but there's no reason to do that. You draw your sword and stand to face the pack of dogs. They come into view in a cloud of dust. Galloping behind them is a masked rider wearing a long flowing cloak, riding a white stallion. He blows a horn. The pack of dogs come to a sudden halt in front of you. There are 4 of them. There we go. And you see they're hunting dogs. The stallion stands motionless behind them, with steam blowing from its nostrils in 2 long jets. The masked man looks at you without speaking. We will start a conversation, because we are not psychos who randomly try to murder people. We are not bandits. You nod your head at the masked rider and bid him good day. He nods back and says nothing. You tell him of your quest to help the dwarves of Stonebridge. He then jumps down from his mount and throws back his cape and extends his right arm to shake your hand. You see that each of his fingers are adorned by a large gold ring. Carry on the conversation, because we're not bandits. The man smiles and takes off his mask, explaining that he wore it to protect himself against the dust and not to hide the face of a robber. You sheath your sword and relax a little. The man tells you he's a hunter and the best game in all of the northern borderlands can be found in this grassy plain within Dartwood Forest. He says his hounds were chasing a wild boar when they lost its scent and picked up that of a fox mistakenly. He warns you that some of the dangerous beasts lurk in these parts and finally says, if you're going to spend the night in Dartwood Forest, you might need some of this. He drops some belladonna into your hand and jumps back on his stallion. And with a sudden blow of his horn, the dogs run off east. He turns and waves to you before galloping off in pursuit of his dogs. Excellent. We will probably need that later. Okay, arrive back at the crossroads. So we're going to keep going west. Oh, it's a strong man. I remember that picture. I wish you could zoom in a bit more. I think it's just the resolution I'm currently playing in, though. I can't really get any closer. You see that the path ends at the door of a large hut made of dried mud. It has a domed roof and a single window. You peer through the window to see a large man with dark skin. That is not dark. Sitting at a table in the middle of the hut. His bare chest and flexing his muscles of his arms. We should enter the hut, because we're going to use that armband and cheat. As you enter the hut, the big man smiles. He looks pleased and starts speaking in a deep voice. Welcome, stranger. My name is Quinn, and I earn my living by my arms. Would you care for a little wager, perhaps at arm wrestling? We accept the challenge. I possess an armband of strength. Quinn explains he will wager some dust of levitation against an item or coins to the value of 10 gold pieces. As you sit down to the table opposite him, you deftly slip the armband of strength onto your arm and place your elbow on the table and lock hands with him. His grip is like an iron jaw and his dark eyes look confident. His biceps bulge as he gives the signal for the contest to begin. You start to push his arm down and you're amazed at your own strength. Sweat breaks out on his forehead and you can see the disbelief and pain on his face. You push harder and force his arm onto the table in defeat. Here we go. Quinn stands up and walks silently to a wooden chest at the back of the hut. He lifts the lid and pulls out a small glass vial. He hands it to you and walks back to the table. He slumps in his chair looking fully dejected. The dust in the vial sparkles in the light. You put it into your backpack and you leave the hut. Alright. Now we want to go north, because we're going back the way we came. As you walk further northwards across the plain, the grass gradually becomes shorter and the ground starts to rise gently. Ahead you hear the roar of crashing water. That'll be the rivers. Soon you reach the bank of a wide split river on 2 levels. To your right, the water is calm and slow moving, but in front of you it tumbles noisily down a waterfall to a gorge below, where the river narrows and quickly runs west over rocks and boulders. It steps down the side of the waterfall, lead to the bottom of the gorge. It's difficult to see where they end up because of the spray. Now, if I remember right, that boat is a trap. It's got like a hole in the bottom of it, and if you go across, you lose all your provisions. So we're going to try this. We will have to do a fight, though. So you walk down the slippery stone steps to the bottom of the waterfall and look up and see a magnificent rainbow reflected in the spray. It's dark in the gorge and impossible to see through the wall of water. If you wish to walk through the sheet of water, turn to 181. Now, I've just got fight written on my piece of paper here, so I don't know what we're fighting. Fish. He's a fish man. Okay. Kitty, eat the fishy. Alright, you walk along the steps through the waterfall into a large cavern where there's a pool of still water. The steps run around the side of the pool and there's a stone table and chair on the far side. You go around the table and see fish scraps lying on it. Because the dude's civilized enough that he needs a table and chair. He's like a pawn in Rimworld. Alright, we hear a sudden splash behind us. The strange creature climbs out of the pool and advances armed with a trident. His legs are like a man, but his face and torso resemble a large green fish with bulbous eyes. His arms are like yours, but covered in scales. He is a fish man, and we must fight him. Because suffer not the mutant to live. Thank you. Oh, that's not good. We take a hit. This is close. Fishman's got good rolls and decent skills. There we go. We kill the Fishman. There's like a valuable use in the Fishman Cave, so you walk around to the north side, step back through the waterfall and up the northern wall of the gorge to the top. You're at the foot of some hills and see the path climbing up into their mist in the north. It is getting dark and night is closing in, so you decide to camp behind some rocks to the right of the path. You build a large fire and sit down to sleep with your sword at our side. Alright. We eat some provisions just to heal up a little bit. I don't like the fact it doesn't tell you what provisions do. That is their werewolf. Oh, dead freaky. You've been asleep for about an hour and the noise of dark growling wakes you up. You stand without making a noise and grab your sword. You wait and listen. There's a full moon in the sky and the light casts eerie shadows all around you. Soft footsteps and sniffing, followed by another low growl. There's a shape that looks like a man that steps out the shadows to your right. As you get close, you see that his chest, arms and face are covered in a thick brown and hair and long teeth protrude from his mouth. He's a werewolf and you must fight. Oh, damn it. We get luck if we actually kill him without getting hit, but we're not going to get it now. We are going to use up that belladonna. I was really hoping we could get through just with some fluky rolls. We're going to lose extra stamina as well. He is hacking us up. I was wounded. I do. We possess. We get sweats and the like. Yes. We are still alive. We want to save some provisions, I think. Because I think one of the events, you need them. Okay. The effects of the belladonna and the bite of the werewolf wear off. And finally you're able to manage to get back to sleep. So we are now heading into the hills. The ground is quite steep as the path winds its way into the hills. And by the time you reach the top of the sun is quite hot. All around you in the distance you see the green circle of Darkwood Forest. Mist still hangs in the tall grasses behind you, but you see a valley floor bathed in sunlight. All is quiet. You start out on the far side of the hill, you see a junction on the path. I think we need to go east along the new branch. The path leads along a ridge of the hill and comes to another junction. You see that the way south leads back to the river, so you decide to go north again. And then we get the wild men. Old hairy and like. Oh, the path runs north down the hill between large boulders and rocks. You have an uneasy feeling that you're being watched. Then from behind one of the boulders to the left spring two sinewy men with long hair and beards. They're wearing animal furs and look menacing. One notches an arrow to his bow and lets it fly. We'll test our luck. Oof. We're running out of luck though. That is very good. Otherwise we're going to lose like 3 or 4 stamina there. Alright, the men curse and jump and down in anger having missed you. They begin to argue and push each other. Let us fight them. We must fight. So they stop their argument to attack us. Oh, come on, game. We hit the first one. Oh my. I think we're gonna die. The dice are just being cruel to me. Okay, the first one's dead. There we go, they are dealt with. And there's the key I needed. Excellent, we take the key, untie the leather cord and put the key in your backpack. Now, adventure sheet. We are quite badly injured. I'm trying to think if I'm going to need the healing potion. I don't think in this route we need the healing potion to cure like a horrible sickness to us. That did not heal as much as I wanted. There we go. Now, which way do we want to go? West or east? Let us go west. The valley floor is covered with lush green grass. Let us go, continuing going west. Oh, that is not what the thing I was looking for. To the left of the path, you see a small grey man. Sitting on the top of a bright... Okay. Sorry. See a small man with a long grey beard sitting cross-legged on top of the huge mushroom. He's wearing a bright red cap and his trousers are black and end at his knees. He sleeps snoring loudly. Ooh. Small one wakes up with a start and loses balance. He falls on the mushroom. Kirsty lands on the ground. He jumps on his mushroom. Who did that? Who did that? I'm not going to attack him. I'll try and converse with him. You approach the gnome with your arm extended, offering to shake his hand. When offer, he accepts with a doubtful look on his face. You tell him of your quest and how you met poor Big Leg and why you decided to help the dwarves. You ask if you had any information that might help. He replies he doesn't care much for dwarves, but he has some information that might be use of you. You know, I'm just going to pay him. Skeleton of a goblin inside a stone's crypt. Somewhere in the north, but not exactly sure. That is exactly what I'm looking for. That's the witch's hut, I think. So we don't want to do that. I want to head north. As you walk across the valley, you can see a dark green wall of dark forest looming before you. The path directly into a thick undergrowth. Soon you're walking between dark trees and thorny bushes. It's dark and quiet. The craft forks. We continue north. Here we go. Amidst the small trees to the left is a path. You see a small building covered with ivy and moss. I think this is the crypt we were looking for. There's this, this is why we need the silver key. Thank you for past Silverain. Thank you for having decent notes. I'm kicking myself for not writing things like gnome and stuff. I thought I'd gone too far this direction. So the building measures only 3 meters by 3 meters, has no windows. The door is made of stone and looks very solid. There is no handle. Does not appear to be in any way to enter the building. You know it's a tiny keyhole. This is a silver key. You take a small silver key out of your backpack and place it into the keyhole. It fits perfectly. You give it a turn. The lock clicks and the stone door swings open. Stone stairs lead down from the door into the gloomy depths. You cannot see a thing down the stairs. So we descend the stairs. Alright. Who bets that's going to come alive and try and murder me if I'm not lucky? You carefully step down the stone stairs, feeling your way as you go. Your eyes slowly become accustomed to the dark. You begin to make out shapes at the bottom of the stairs. You're standing in a small square room with a low ceiling. The floor is thick with dust and there are cobwebs everywhere. In the middle of the room, there's what appears to be a large stone box measuring approximately 2 meters by 1 meter. On the top of it is a great stone slab. Along one of the rough stone walls, you find a small alcove with a candle in it. I will light the candle. The light from the candle casts eerie shadows around you. In the yellow light, you see the face of an old man carved into the stone top of the stone slab top of the box. Then you notice the leg of a skeleton protruding from the shadows in the far corner. You walk over to the skeleton to inspect it. The skeleton is small and the skull has sharp protruding teeth. It could even be the skeleton of an orc or goblin. You walk over the slab. It looks like it could be moved. We attempt to lift the slab. We use the dust of levitation. You take from your backpack the glass vial containing the sparkling dust and sprinkle it onto the stone slab. Slowly the stone slab starts to rise into the air and you peer into the box and horrified to see the rotten corpse lying there. Ragged clothes cover a skeletal body with loose flesh hanging from it. You've lifted the lid off a coffin containing some cursed undead creature and jump back in horror as you see its eyes flick open. You're in the crypt made foul by some unknown follower of darkness and slowly the creature rises out of its coffin towards you with outstretched arms. We heat the holy water! 40,000 cheers, you found 2 halves of the dwarven hammer. Excellent. I thought this would just lead me to 1, but it looks like I've got an actual solution thing here. You reach into your backpack and pull out the small bottle of holy water. Quickly removing the cork, you throw the water at the advancing ghoul. Thick smoke rises into the air from the burn marks made by the holy water on the putrid flesh of the ghoul. The ghoul appears to be in great pain, through its wide open mouth, no sound is heard. It crawls into the corner of the room, desperate to escape your godly weapon. You would walk over to the coffin and look inside. You're overjoyed to see, as well as 25 gold pieces, an object the ghoul was using as a headrest. A bronze hammer inscribed with a G. Or hammerhead, should I say. Now, I have to say, looking back now, it's a bit contrived. So it was in... We have a locked box or thing. So we had a fully rotted skeleton of a goblin that was all in one piece. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, folks. So much talking. We need more air. Yeah, so... And then it's inside the coffin, but it was locked by the... How did it get in here? How did the hammerhead get in here? Did the... are the old men, crazy old men, capturing people and throwing them as a sacrifice to this thing, maybe? But why is the goblin skeleton so stripped of flesh and dusty? Alright. The path presses on northwards through the dense trees, and then it makes a sudden turn to the right and heads east. The path is so overgrown in places that you have to use your sword to cut through it. Your walk as east is long and tiring. At last you reach a junction in the path. Looking at Big Leg's map, you decide to head north in the direction of Stonebridge and ignore the narrow path continuing east. I think it's all practically automatic on the way back. The path opens into a small clearing. To your right, you see a pile of branches, grass, and pieces of rag. The lair of some large creature. Amongst the debris and old bones, you catch the sight of something glittering. Oh, this is dangerous. We're gonna go for it. No, we want to be gone. We want to be gone. This is one of the toughest fights in the forest. You walk over to investigate the lair, but you're suddenly aware of a dark shadow cast all around you. Hear a large roar above you. See a dragon-like creature with 2 legs and a green scaly skin. A bolt of fire shoots from its mouth towards you. Test your luck. Oh, extremely lucky. Is a wyvern. I do not possess the flukes. I did not kill the hobgoblins. We need to run. We are in not a good place here. It's already injured us. We test our luck. Oh, okay, that's what it does. I thought it was like to get crits. We could have just left. We could have just left. Have I screwed myself? If I die, I will come back to this spot. And we'll continue. Both miss. Please, dice, be kind. Please, dice, be kind. This is tense. I snake eyes. That could not have been worse. We killed the wyvern, I think. Oh, yes. Okay, the ring, the gauntlet. I think one of these is cursed. But yeah, I should have killed the I should have killed the hobgoblins. I bet this thing's got an achievement. Trial the gauntlet. Gauntlet of weapon skill. Adds 1 point to all future dice rolls and computing your own attack strength. Nice. I think the ring is a ring of clumsiness. Ooh, no. Did not mean to click that. No, I'm going to ignore the ring. Ooh. Walking along the narrow path, you suddenly hear the sharp crack of a twig breaking, the whisper of low voices. You draw your sword and wait anxiously with your back to a large oak tree. From behind the trees opposite you step 4 men and a woman dressed in green tunics. They each look menacing. I think they're bandits. Yeah, and they stand with swords and axes in hand. The young woman steps forward and says, "You're trespassing on the territory. You must pay a levy of 5 objects from your backpack or face the consequences." You know what? I'm just going to pay the bandits. I'm going to give you a gold piece, a gold piece, gold piece, a gold piece. I could give them the gloves of strength. I've already used it. There we go. Normally you can't give you these items. Huh. Okay. We escape the Darkwood Forest. The bandit woman takes the items from you and steps you back to let you pass. You head north again and soon notice the trees beginning to thin out on either side of the path. Eventually the path leads out of the trees into a ploughed field. You're out of Darkwood Forest. We did an optimal solution. I was not expecting that. The path leads to the field to a stone bridge over a clear stream. Beyond the bridge are small cottages and wooden huts of a village. A sign on the bridge reads Stonebridge. You cross the bridge and see two old dwarves with long white beards standing by a cottage looking at you. I have the hammer. Nice. You walk up to the old dwarves and ask them to take you to Gillibrand. They eye you suspiciously, but agree to do so, commenting on your wounds and torn clothing. You got those in Darkwood Forest, I presume? Says one of the dwarves, pointing to the various gashes on your body with his long clay pipe. Some people never learn. Adventurers are all the same. I can't see the sense of it myself. You walk through the village behind the two dwarves and are aware of many dwarvish folk watching you. They begin to follow you and a procession builds up. There are a lot of mutterings and whispers amongst the dwarves and expected looks... Lots of mutterings and whispers amongst the crowd of dwarves and expected looks show on their faces. Thank you for bearing with me. I can barely say a sentence at this point. Soon you arrive at the foot of the stone steps leading up to a stone bridge. Outside the building on an ornate wooden throne sits a small old man with a long beard. He is wearing a crown but looks miserable and holds his head in his hands. You run up to the steps taking the hammer head and handle from your backpack. The sight of them, the old dwarves light up and he jumps to his feet. Taking them eagerly from you, he starts to shout, my hammer, we are saved. Now, my people, we are ready to fight the trolls. The whole crowd erupts into cheering, waving their axes and swords in the air. You tell Gillibrand of Big Leg's misfortune and why you decided to continue this mission, of all the monsters you've encountered on your way. Gillibrand listens and frowns at the news of Big Leg, his faithful servant. Then he opens a drawer in the base of his throne and reaches into it, pulling out a small silver box and a golden winged helmet and hands them to you. The helmet is worth hundreds of gold pieces, and you proudly place it on your head. A great roar of approval comes from the crowd. You open the silver box and find dozens of jewels and gems. You put these in your backpack and wave to the happy dwarves of Stonebridge. Your quest is over. You're now wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. The end. Excellent. So, that is the default ending to the normal Forest of Doom for Fighting Fantasy. I've had a lot of fun going back to this. Again, I did not do a lot in this in some ways, because I've got my old cheat sheet here. Apparently, I must have done a full playthrough. I remember completing this a handful of times. I died a lot in fights, and I did a lot of ones where I had to return to the start. Oh. But there's quite a few... I think there's quite a few achievements to try and earn for this. Oh, we get art gallery. So this is all the art we've unlocked. So there's plenty of things we didn't see. And I like the fact they've got like the original. I think some of the... I do like the Stonebridge. I think some of the originals look better than the coloured versions. But it's pretty loyal. And achievements. Oh yeah, we got plenty to find. We have plenty to find. So if anyone wants me to try this on the hardcore difficulty, let me know. We could just have a run where we try and explore as much of the forest as possible. But thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure to return to this. And it's definitely made me want to go and pick up some of the other books. Ah, good sweet memories. But I will catch you next time.